This is an episode of Star Trek that I recorded on VHS when I was young. I was compelled to record it. There's other things that impressed me, like Dune when he makes, but it's always related a bit to war. This is the only one where you see power and you see nonviolence, and it's the only one that I kept re-recording on VHS. And now, since I'm going through something that in the last few months, if people have seen my testimonials, it's maybe the longer ones, maybe people new to my channel don't know, but I'll repeat myself. I was trying to bargain for my life, practically, a little bit. You're going to see parts of this that maybe some of you may have seen it. Today is the 20th. Maybe it's going to repeat within the 21st of November, 2025. And 20, usually they stay a whole 12 hours at least. Programs, they repeat, like the Star Trek series, the same episodes from the same star date. So all I wanted to say about this, and I'm not going to flip the phone, I'm just going to, I had tears now when I saw this, and the synchronicity that I came out, even if they meant to tell me a different story. Here, what did I write here? I made notes that they knew I would be watching this because I always check Star Trek, and they knew, maybe they know that I know that they know. So the idea of me dying is one thing, and it's difficult for anybody to die, no matter what age, what disease, what persecution. But the idea that I'm so close, and they know it, and they see it from the progression of 4 years ago when they used to try to intimidate me just with cars before they started doing that thing that I don't know if I want to show it again. Months ago, bleeding and things like that, a bit the way I felt, and not on my throat, but so you see my face there, but there's other ones too. But see, police, STM, I was in my path. Like you see, it's my whole life is trying to prove that they're harassing me and following me. This one, I don't know if it's that time. No, this is just a video I made that shows all the things. But anyways, you see my channel. I took out most of them, but these are the ones that this one has a collage. So the bleeding in the bathroom, you see that's real blood, people. And like I said, my time is up soon. It doesn't matter whether they say I'm crazy or that I'm doing this to myself, because that's how ridiculous it is. And the fact that I showed the alchemist, see, I'm pleading with them. I said, police, why don't you wait a couple of years, maybe keep an eye on me, but not harass me too much physically or not do these things. Like now, again, no sound in the apartments adjacent to mine. They pretend that there's still movement, and it's almost 24 hours and more, meaning since yesterday afternoon that there's nobody on the different apartment sides. So this is my life, and the only way I could tell you how I feel and why I was compulsed, and maybe even Sarah, the girl from The Alchemist, that's also on Gaia, why she spoke of that beautiful, it's sad but beautiful in the fact that there's a lot, it doesn't happen all the time to spiritually awake people that they get what I'm getting or in the same way. But if you speak truth and you have a radiance about you and you denounce the system, because spiritual people like Jesus, they always, because the system is a slave demiurge, it's an aberration side of God. It's like you're the only good cell, or you're one of the few good cells that realizes the cancer that's the whole planet. Basically, I said it in a bit of a direct, maybe a bit cold way, but it is what it is. And I know sometimes the way, because I'm with my, whatever is left of my physical body, they torture all the time. So when I speak from some of my trauma, I speak like, oh, like even I made the one I go, hey, I'm one of the chosen, and it looks like my ego is expressing it. I even talk, yeah, you see, that's me, you see. Like I seem ridiculous to myself too, but it doesn't matter whether my ego speaks about my transfiguration. The fact that this, I had a chance to record it and I couldn't find it. I tried for years. I don't know if I'm allowed. I'm going to try showing little excerpts. I don't know if I'm allowed. That's the thing, is they're always going to say copyright, but they could copyright that, but they can't copyright my material. And what is covered in Gene Roddenberry's adaptation of this episode on Star Trek is taken from what more than 7,000 years ago or 5,000 years ago was ripped in the Vedas and the yogic texts and other, not genders, other nationalities or other countries that did the spiritual, like the alchemist said, there's different religions, they all have a core truth. That's all it is. And it was weaponized, just like governments are pretending we're free and we vote them in, but they make up any laws and they say you have to do that for your own safety. We decide, though, what's good for you. We know what your mental health. People don't realize you're going to a doctor. Never mind when you break your arm and you're in pain, you can't fix it yourself. Besides things like that, a doctor shouldn't tell you what your emotions are about. He shouldn't be able to interpret your dreams or your feelings or your ink blots by what you... It's stupid. It's always been a disgusting, stupid, like Tesla. He invented a free energy system. Of course he was put down in all this his work. He's like Bentov. He happened to be Jewish like me. I'm partially Jewish. So it doesn't matter your nationality. Truth and love gets destroyed. JFK, Gandhi, Jesus, Moses. Well, again, people say Moses was misguided. I don't want to go there. So it's disgusting. See, again, I'm trying to hear any walking, nothing. No. Why would there be nobody next door or upstairs? Because they put such a strong product that they... And I sort of smelled it in the hallways yesterday. On my floor, especially only on my floor, and it wasn't. It's hard to explain. So it's not a smell like gas when it's rotten eggs. It's not like that. It's I can sense and also smell refined. It's part of the more your senses work overtime, the more your sixth sense, like the movie The Sixth Sense. I don't know if it was called that, the one with Bruce Willis. You sense energies, you sense intent before, like yesterday, I probably will put another video talking about yesterday, more negative, but this one is just to show, and I want to show some of the... Good.
Then we can't continue our mission without...
Must be a shift.
See, cell mutations.
I wish I could help you find the truth.
Beverly,
See, I'm going to pause it, and then I'm going to leave it in little morsels that they can't say I'm showing you like the whole show. But just to bring it to a sort of near the conclusion, because this is so old, they can't say I'm giving, you know what I mean, that thing that you say that you revealed. See, now it doesn't come to me because I'm not feeling well, and it's hard for me to be in a meditative state because it could be my last video. And I said this in another video you might see on the 21st or 22nd, at latest the 22nd or 23rd, because of November 2025, because I want to tell people... And if the people that investigate, whether they're good police, because I don't care much about negative, brainwashed, bad intent police or neighbors or Apopex. There are good people in Apopex, in my neighbors, in police, obviously. But the thing is, are they working hard enough to keep me alive? And this is the reason. Now I'm revealing it because I'm so close to bleeding and dying and seeing that they expulsed the, again, since they made it worse. And they were obvious with even a lot of noise when I took out some videos, or 80% of my testimonial videos, and they were flaunting that they were going to gas me even faster. But then when I put my videos, now they're doing it in a way that's more slower and less to prove, or maybe they pretend they're doing exterminations. And now I think I got a proof of life call, even though I don't want to go there, because they know that I'm sensitive to those products. So if they keep putting them and they keep people out of the apartment, they don't have to make me bleed and die fast. They could just make my body deteriorate, just like at the hospital. They wanted to inject me and tie me up, but for no logical reason. So this is what I mean is I can expect literally when they send people to punch me, people to harass me. The other one will explain what happened at Maxi on the 19th of November 2025 is horrific. It wasn't a lot physically, but it was so staged. It's not that horrific like visually, or it's like when I said this girl looks at her phone, then smashes into me, and I repeated that statement, and I would take a polygraph to prove it. And then I looked at her and she goes, "Hey, monsieur, what do you know, like," as if she turned it around, just like Apopex and the police say that I'm crazy while they hurt me. And when I tell people, "Oh, you're crazy, you're so crazy, we're going to take away even your freedom." So this is the ridiculous. That girl looked at me and blamed me for her having smashed me, and I wasn't even moving at all. So, and I was near the edges of the metro. And all I did, I looked at her, I go, "Who paid you? Is it the police that paid you to do this?" Not, is it? I said, "How much?" No, wait a minute, correction. I said, "How much did the police pay you to do this kind of stupid, dirty job?" But this is the world. It's all sneaky. There are gangs. They do bust some of them. But at least the gangs are disorganized and they risk. But the government is so organized in their crimes. This guy, now I erased it. This guy was getting 4 years in prison for making an application to hide your Bitcoin or other things that you do, almost like a VPN. Sooner or later, even VPNs, even not having a phone, if the chips are not forced on us, the digital chips to know everywhere where we are. The phones meaning is that even having a phone or protect, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say? They have to keep an eye on us, punish us for any ridiculous reason they feel, and eventually take our life. And what I said in another video, I said, police, okay, why don't you see for 6 months or even 2 months, 2 or 3 months, see if the Canadians or other teams do better, if the budget and people start fighting less accidents, Trump shitting less on Canada, he's going to have a change of heart, maybe a little bit at a time, more reasonable. Now they're saying the best we can get is like England, which England is already a criminal country, just like Canada. And I don't want to say that to insult, just like when I say to police that follow and harass me. And they don't even contest that. They don't answer. And they pretend like I'm just being rude. They only focus on the part you insulted us. They look at what I do to them, even if it's in a defensive, frustrated state, they weaponize that and say, I'm doing something to them. So this is where you see the ridiculousness. Look at the ending of it. I don't know how many minutes I could leave that they're not going to say. I'm just going to
find something you couldn't understand. Some suspected that what was happening to them was not evil.
see. They call us Lee.
Four of us decided to flee Zelka and let the metamorphosis
See,
take
we're
its
a
course.
change, but it's not like that reality. But
Killed the others, but I survived with the help of a kind.
even here, see, like but the thing is, like at the end,
Four of us decided to flee Zelka and let the metamorphosis take its
see,
course.
flee. But I have nowhere to go. But the point is, he's saying you have a chance of changing like me. That's why I'm saying it on the planet. It's a metamorphosis, but on the planet now, these are like he becomes literally light. You feel like light. On 3D, you can't change. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen in, I don't know, 50 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, maybe. You won't live that long in this body, but you make your reincarnation in your control. But if you get attached to Trek, if you become like the Borg, talk about Star Trek, but this episode, you should see it. And that actor did other things. I think he did the reincarnation of Peter Proud. Type that in. I think it's the same face under that makeup. I don't know if I could show it again.
You hunted us down, killed the others.
See how I remember spiritual movies. I remember this because I was always interested in spiritual things since I was young. And I think it's the same actor that did this. I'm not sure, but if it isn't, he looks a lot like that actor that did this thing. Just write it in, the reincarnation of Peter Proud. And it's in the 70s, a movie in the 70s about reincarnation. It was a bit, it was limited. It didn't have a lot of interest. Besides, the show was well done. But here, you just have to see this Sunad and this guy, the guy that wanted to kill him is Sunad. But it's about somebody's spiritual child. I don't know how you could find that out. But anyways, if you could find the name of the episode, you could see it yourself. So like that, I wouldn't be doing copyright infringement because now I showed it for less than 20 seconds. So I don't think they could do that. But you never know because they, like I said, big companies were talking about the vaccine during the pandemic and they weren't even getting one warning. And I got 3 of them just for sharing a minute or 2 of their videos. So you see how, just like saying, Bill C12 or not C12, C9, I don't know if it exists, probably C8, C9, C63, they say you could do pre-crime, but if somebody says something, you could say, well, that person threatened, so one day he might hurt someone. That's logical. But me, I never threatened. But look how they twisted that law into even worse, and they come up with, and I feel like crying. If you don't see this as a person, I just said they keep, whether it's police or undercover, or like you say, I'm imagining it's police. If somebody punches you, sooner or later, you have to try to get away or stop them somehow. So it's even like they tried to jail the person, and they did jail him for a while, the person that defended himself when they attacked his dwelling. So what's happening to me, you have to understand that it's not only about that they owe me money a lot, and they would have to stop, obviously, but they have no morals, there is no procession, there is no logic. They weaponize everything. Like me, I got a call from an organization now, basically to find out if I'm alive or what. I don't know what it is, but it's not honest. Like in the past, they used to pretend it was St. Mary's, and it was, who knows? At that time, it wasn't police. It was probably people from Apopex or other people. The idea is that they want to, it's really sad. It's really, really, really sad. Now, they might weaponize everything is about being weaponized. Everything. So I have to expect attacks. It's like I said, I go pay with my card, it gets blocked, but it's there. I didn't go fund anybody that's against the government. I'm not against the government. I'm against what they're doing to me in specific, and it relates to certain exaggerated laws. So even if I would be putting this in December, even if they don't decide to go legal but immoral, meaning they're going to find out, get together, yeah, let's get rid of them. Let's put them in psychiatry. Let's house arrest them with an ankle bracelet that with a poison in it. Who's going to check for them? That's going to make them die after a few days. So this is what I mean. I expect that not because it's in the future. It's now. Right now, look. You just could meditate like as if you're in a silent cave without even a drop of spring water dripping in the cave. More silent, meaning people can't be in their apartments. In the echoing walls, up, down, and so they're just, like one time I made a drawing all like being boxed in more and more. So this is my life, boxed in. And I am pleading with the police because they know already, they got the hint. When I said, can you delay a few years? They know I'll become so powerful in 3-4 years that maybe I'll still be vulnerable to physical weapons and even their gadgets, but it's hard to explain. Never mind compulsing people to say the truth that they're undercover, but I might compulse myself into a situation where people will put some shields around me, some legal shields, with lawyers might decide to help me. See, I'm being realistic. I'm not telling you I think I'm like that guy that's going to be of like, who knows? There's maybe a 0.01% chance, like comma, 0, and then 1, of something similar to this show, but because science fiction is always exaggerated to make us wonder that it's science fiction. So it's calming the part of us when we have a calling, almost like in the Manifest. That's another series too, that it has truth, but it's hidden and warped. So you have to decipher and remember. Even here, it's about remembering. Like now, a lot of people say it's not a meditation, it's a remembering of who you are. You're not the film, you're not the lens, you're not even the projector. You're what decides what the projector is going to put. So and that explains why there's all this corruption. Nothing falls, not even a pin drops if God does not wish it. So how long am I into? 17 minutes. I might upload. I'm filming my apartment and thinking, and oh yeah, it's the regular camera. So it's like this because I thought it was the selfie after a while. So all I'm saying is that I have to put this video. It might waste a lot of my data, but it's worth it because there's other ones that talk about the negative, but I want to talk about the positive first. If you see that episode, tell me if you know in the comments the reincarnation of Peter Proud, if it's the same actor. He has a bit of that face, but even if it's not him, but the idea that the government, he's like, oh, he goes, if people awaken, they were telling people for generations, this movie or this episode of Star Trek is a recap of what's happened in the last 3,000-4,000 years in the Western world. It's all a fake, controlled, enslaved. Even the Romans, even their own people in the Senate were enslaved, unless you were the top dog. Only the top dog and 5 or 7 of them in the cabinet that make those things. It's just like our House of Commons. They fight within each other to have secondary positions. But the people that make the laws, the judges, the police that apply them, they're all compulsed by a narrative of rich people that are beyond all governments, that are behind who decides what gets stamped. And it's beyond Trump or Biden are both pawns to that power. And it's so intricate that I think they don't even know that it's there because it's something that you can't really explain. It's also the vibe of evil, the vibe of controlling people that have no way of defending themselves. So I think I said enough. I think people get the gist of it, that the basic thing I was saying, if people remember or check my videos, is that not only do I know I'm one of the chosen, and you could see it, that I have a higher calling because of the level of corruption and the level of staff, the level of people they spend money on to make my life worse than dead. And for them, whether I'm dead or not, it's just to the moment that it would be a reason. Like even now, if I die, that's why they call. They don't want the body to smell too much, because I'm not saying that another person instead of me would have died because I smelled the extermination, but they saw that I bleed, I show it. So it could have been that I died, but I don't know now because I used precautions, fans, air purifiers, opening the door even in sort of not winter, but it's like a very cold fall. It is like a bit like winter weather. It's not normal. In October, one time in the past, it was like snow and freezing, but that was an exception. But usually in November, a few years ago in December, it didn't even snow yet once in December. Look at now, we had so much snow. So the weather is still even controlled by them. It's all messed up. And they control weather, they control fire burning, they put things in the air to cause fires, and then they blame people to control them even. Everything is our fault, but they're the ones dictating all rules, using cameras, using face recognition. They want to know where we are, what we do. And the people, this guy got at least 4 years in prison for making an application to protect people from being traced, what they do with their Bitcoin or where they put it. Because the government wants to know everything. They weaponize money. Money shouldn't be that someone who has more value than someone that has less. That's why they made a physical system, because they had the weapons in the past, in the time of the Romans. So the Roman Empire got transferred. But I'm not here to recap the history of the world. I'm just saying that my survival, like this guy says it, and I'm not going to quote it again or show it, but if you see that, just see that episode, I showed less than a minute and all. I don't think they could tell copyright, because I'm always worried about censorship. My survival means a lot to the planet, not just to me. And I waited so many years, and I didn't know why I was compelled to re-record this show on VHS and now re-record it on my phone. Not all of it, but just 10 minutes, the essential parts. When I bumped into that on the Sci-Fi channel on Pluto, you could see it. If you have Pluto TV, which is free, see it within the 20th and the 21st. You might come up across that thing. If you could, I don't know if I could find the start date or the type of episode, which season it was and which episode, what it was called. So I don't know if I'm going to upload today on the 20th. I think this is important enough for me to upload it. And I'm repeating the same offer to the police. If I die, I will go down fighting, but not necessarily physically or legally. I will curse, yes. If I'm about to die now and it's your fault, I won't curse intentionally, but I'll say, God, let them know that was wrong. That's all I'm going to, that's the only intent. That's the only words that I could replace for how I would feel. Because I do feel I'm close to dying. You are doing things to me, police, that are not human. They're beyond demonic. And if I wouldn't tell you, I wouldn't be honest with myself and with my fans. So I'm not being a dissident. I'm being a truanist. I'm just telling people what I feel, and that my life matters for everyone, or else I wouldn't be making this video. And I am a chosen. I'm a big chosen. And police, you know that if you're putting this much effort, there is no reason, even if I would have broken a police car or blew it up even, what you're doing to me is beyond, even if I would have done a type of action that would have been noticeable or verbally recorded, right? So the only reason would be that I am becoming like the guy you saw in this video, as much as that could translate to a reality, meaning that is obviously far-fetched, to say the least. It's science fiction. But whatever you could get in a human way in people that are like Jesus, I am it. I don't want to be it. See, I think if people would have recorded Jesus, I don't want to be it. I don't want to tell you that the world could end if my life ends. Simple. That's the bottom line. So you decide, police, do you make me forgive you like it's in my nature and let me survive and get to resonate like the guy in the video I just showed? Or are you going to put me down in a cowardly, sneaky, even though you could do it in an obvious way, come up with a law that's going to say you have to inject me and then, oh, oops, he died. We didn't know he was that sensitive. Something like that, right, please? So good vibes. I spoke from my heart. And that's what I'll label this video. Warlock, something speaks from the heart. Good vibes. Love you all. Like, subscribe, comment what you think. Am I delusional that I'm a chosen one? Are all these coincidences my delusional pinning, like, the research that the investigators do? Or is it truth? What do you feel? Am I speaking truth or as close as possible to it? I would pass a polygraph. I believe everything I'm saying, and I have proof of the things I'm saying when it comes to my torment and torture. But the spiritual things, I cannot really prove them. But can you feel them?